Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yeah, through our own lens, which can be sour, can be almost like pickly, like brined, if you will, like dilled and habaneroed, if you can. And also, at the end of the day, hopefully, mildly sweet.
Hi. So today we are discussing 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 4, Episode 16, The Tell All, Part 2. Hi, I'm Sean Robinson. So listen, I wrote a couple of notes and I'm just gonna read them because this is the thing I kept thinking. First of all, the first note is shut up, Gabe. He has mildly turned into the villain for me. And it is because the things that he's choosing to go after is just as bad as what I think sometimes folks go after the LGBTQAI plus community. And not that everybody should be woke just because they're a marginalized group, but I'm just at how shocked he his feelings about specifically Islam. Like, I wonder, and Sean brought up some really great points. I just wonder if he feels this way about every religion or he's just choosing to attack Mahmoud. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, then he even does the like, you know what? I can say this because listen, let me just not tell you. I actually have like some Muslims in my family, like my dad married a step, so I know what I'm talking about. Also, was like, what if I don't have to tell you? What if I mean, this is like you saying that you have gay friends or you have black friends, almost. Like it's just like I don't know, like we are so sensitive right now. I really, really try to understand and be sensitive to how people live because it's I know that I'm a specific person, and I guess in my mind I can only imagine the turmoil that Gabe has felt, and so I guess it becomes shocking or surprising that he would not be able to have empathy for what feels like a person who lives a certain way. But also this, Gabe, how worldly are you that you don't understand that Mahmoud, and this is what I said last time, is a immature fetus that has never left a .5 mile radius of a fabric store in Cairo. I don't even like. How are you putting this man to the coals? It makes us feel like you don't watch the show. Like this isn't someone, honey, that like is worthy of your ire because we understand that this person has a very different, somewhat microscopic world they live in. What do you want me to say? It's like I don't want to be mean to Mahmoud, but I understand that this person's coming from a very insular situation. And so for Gabe to not make that connection that this is like a very young, tiny, 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 skinny man that has done nothing and gone nowhere in his life and knows nothing. Why are you like pretending that he's on Twitter all day long talking to the woke people? I don't. You're not this is not an American Twitter person. I don't know. He doesn't read thought catalog, babe. Like what? I don't
Yes.
know.
And Mahmoud believes that his choices are his direct path to heaven. And so as far
I
as I
know.
know, Mahmoud hasn't been attacking anybody of the LGBT plus community. And maybe he has, and maybe that's the information that Gabe knows, and that's why Gabe is going full force. But Mahmoud actually understands how damaging the things that Gabe is saying for him, his country, and his religion. And he's so pissed off. And then Nicole, this is what I feel. Nicole is I'm just going to say it, white lady or white person who is wanting her person of color slash religion that has been like shitted on in America since 2001, like wants him to be the bigger person. And I think that's unfair for Nicole to expect Mahmoud to I just want everybody to bring love and happiness into the earth. Like we just have to be positive people. Why put the stalwartness on Mahmoud instead of her looking at Gabe and saying, Gabe, I feel like what you're doing now is being really aggressive towards my husband. He's not here to defend himself. So I'm going to defend him and I'm going to ask you to stop talking about him this way.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Nicole also, this is like also, listen, I need to be shown this because I don't want to victim blame someone, but everyone on this dais is like, Nicole is a victim. She's being controlled. And I do not get this because this person has never hit her, has never held anything over her like financial stability. This person is at least 14 years younger than this person. This person does not have the worldliness of Nicole. Nicole has lived on this earth so much longer. Nicole lives in a different country. There is nothing that Mahmoud has told Nicole, like, you are going to do. All he has said is, before they got married, I want a Muslim wife. And Nicole was like, great, okay, sign me up. Don't know anything about it, but And now all these people are like, Mahmoud makes Nicole do this. Bitch is 40. Bitch is 40. Okay? She's not being made to do anything. You know what she makes herself do? Cut her bangs every morning. That is what Nicole is making herself. And the only one that is making Nicole do anything is herself, making her cut her bangs every morning. Okay? Truly. So I am not like, come to me and tell me, is he being abusive towards her? I mean, everyone is emotionally abusive. I do not understand in a world in which we're being like, Nicole is stuck there and living this life. He has nothing to control her by. Not money, not kids, not anything. I don't even get it. He has never hurt her. He's never raised a hand. I like don't understand it.
Yes. Here she is, you ladies and gentlemen, Chris Farah, just spitting the absolute truth.
Exasperated. Just like, what? Wait more say. So then okay, so in the Uniday universe.
In the Uniday universe?
I know, I'm so upset now. You got me so upset. In the Uniday universe, we know that there is footage of Mahmoud, honey, coming to LAX and being embraced by Nicole. Welcome here, my love. And the funny thing is, when I watched Nicole hug him, she hugs him like a mother would. She kind of pulls at his thing. Oh, come. She kind of like treats him like, a mother would. And I will tell you this. I think that their whole relationship is a trauma bond. And I don't think that he is the aggressor and she's like, I think that they are in some sort of thing where they're feeding off of each other. I don't understand exactly how it's true love because I don't think they actually know each other, but for some reason this is what's happening, or they're on television. You can tell me. But I mean, I do agree, Nicole, you're not, honey, an Arab that's like grown up this way. You don't see your way out. She has chosen every moment of her life thus far. She was an incredibly, alive adult before she even met him. So it's so hard for me.
Yes. She loves him. I believe that she does love him because he, as she said prior to, has made her feel the best anybody has ever made her feel, because he is a true, in his mind, husband and giver to his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants to give to this woman. He loves this little pixie, blue-eyed, light-skinned, can't handle the sun fairy who is just like flittered into his life, and he wants to hold on to her. But there's parts of him that won't allow her to be the her that she wants to be. He wants her to get to heaven. He wants her to get to heaven, and he wants her to have the shining light of Allah on him. And he just doesn't understand that not everybody can be like that. I bet you his brother Ahmed would let her live her life. I think Ahmed is like, I mean, we don't know, his wife came there. I don't know if she was Muslim before. I don't know the situation, but I really want to know more. I mean, can we give us a 90-day The Offshoot where we just know about the families who are in stuff? And really needs to be starred Ahmed and Fatima. It needs to star what's his face's sister Nefertari and her situation. Like, I have so many siblings that I want to be on the show so they can tell me more about the lives I'm into. Like Kalani. Can Kalani have a little like whatever with her boyfriend? I don't know. I just want to know about everybody's sibling that's on the show. So, anyways, Chris has this really great photo.
Wait, how about Tom's sibling? Remember the sister? Remember Tom?
Yes.
The English.
There are so many. There are so many.
Remember that woman?
Trey. Who is Trey dating in Colombia? Chris, don't you want to know a little bit about Trey, who's Gabe's friend in Colombia? You want to know a little bit about that? Again, I don't remind you that, the guy with the hat and the crazy ass face. I mean, we get to Trey.
No, but you said brother, so that's why I was thinking of. So when you said Trey, I was like, who the hell's Trey? Okay.
Yeah, I want anybody whose siblings are related to Friends, like
Okay.
Ami from, just kidding.
Yeah, no,
Anyways,
we can. Yeah,
with
yeah, we
so
can
many
talk
siblings
more.
that I want them to have the offshoot of it. Okay, like Evelyn in Ecuador, Evelyn's beautiful sisters. I want to know what they're up to. Okay, so Chris has a
Yeah.
really great picture of. We noticed some choices in outfits this episode. I mean, besides the fact that whatever is around Nicole's neck is just like stabbing her in the like Adam's apple, or like stabbing her in the valley of this part of her throat is constantly. We have Rishi. So Rishi, who has decided that he's on American TV, so he's going to put on a very sparkly and dual fabric jacket, but wear a t-shirt underneath.
We did talk about this, right? Because yeah, I think I did, only because it looks like, okay, it's a velvet jacket with, I mean, crystals or whatever the hell you want
Yeah.
to call it on it. But then what he did, honey, is underneath it is a shirt that is a workout shirt. I mean, you can tell that fabric is a fabric that doesn't get wet. Like the fabric of the shirt is just horrible. He has That's crazy. I can't believe that he goes through life and actually gets women, but he does. And then to make it even worse, Chris then is like, oh, well, how about this? How about I wear a velvet jacket with weird jewels on it as well, and a weird underneath part as
Corset.
well,
A
and my
corset
hair will
underneath.
look bad too, Rishi.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry. If you want your hair to look bad and for you to wear a velvet jacket with a bunch of fucking bling, my name is Chris, and here I come, and here is everything. 5 different colors of hair in my hair. I mean, it's so funny that she was like, I will put on eyelashes for this tell-all, but still no eyebrows. You're already up there, Chris. You
You,
are already there, applying more hair to something, knowing that this part might need a little more volume. This part.
no, that's what
No
you
one was
not
like,
knowing.
let's go up 1 centimeter more and also give this part a little zhuzh. But no, and again, I don't mean to I am going to eyebrow shade because Chris is fucking crazy. And I'm on one. Oh, this is the free feed. I got to take it back. Okay, go on.
No, you don't forget, Chris, that we need to stop for a
You're the people
commercial
like I
break.
want.
Okay.
Oh.
Don't forget, Chris, we need to stop for a commercial break. As well as, at this point, let's just talk to Patreon. Go ahead. Go off, sis.
Well, I was going to say, when we come back, now it's going to be Sean Robinson again. Come back from the commercial break like Sean Robinson.
Go off, sis. Let me take my notes and figure out when we started. This is the Patreon time. Hello, Patreonists. Hello, everybody.
Remember that time I had COVID? Ugh, what a horrible thing.
Where's my pen? That is the truth. It was like 12:20. Okay, let me write it in here. 12:20 that we went off the rails. Chris, go off, sis, go off. Tell us about Chris and what you feel. Go.
No, she scares the shit out of me, and so she's a horrible fucking nightmare. I mean, half of this watching the show, I feel like it's being like, I don't ever want to get in a relationship. There's baddie waddies everywhere. I don't trust anyone. I think everyone is insane, and I don't trust. Maybe I don't trust anyone. But yeah, Chris is Bananaramas, and we'll talk more about some things that we have, fun tweets and stuff like that. But anyway, can we go back now?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sean, take us back.
All right. Hello. Welcome back to 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, The Tell-All, Part 2. So
Your cadence was perfect, by the way. Sorry, it was perfect.
Thank you. So we want to move over to Jen and Rishi. Rishi, so last time we saw you, Rishi, you were crying in your bedroom after your parents told you that they didn't want you to be with an old baddie named Jen. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you were feeling? Hello, Sean. So, no, not that my parents, my mama, she tell me that it's okay, I can marry Jen. Then when she find out the age of Jen, she said no.
Yeah, wait, ask me a question and I'll tell you exactly how he goes about answering every question. Just ask me something.
Rishi, Chris, tell us a little bit about your relationship with your mother.
Oh, uh, my mom wants the best for everyone.
Rishi, it
Like
sounds like you're
he
just saying what everyone wants to hear. Is that not true, Rishi? We found out
no,
that
I'm not. Rishi has every okay, this is what I'm trying to say. And just every time Rishi has to talk, and we know this person, by the way, isn't speaks really good English, but so it's not that he's trying to translate in his mind how to get what he wants to say into English, but you watch Rishi every time have the fear of what the truth is, and then swallow it, swallow it, swallow it so it doesn't come out, and try like he is on, the plank about to jump into jump into the sea, get himself a life jacket. It is like you really watch this person have thoughts in his head like, oh God, they're gonna get me, and how do I get past it? Is this okay? I mean, everything looks like he, literally is being integrated by the police. So this scene, listen to me, this is what happens. So they bring on Jen's two baddie friends, right? The friends that are like so excited to be on this season or whatever, those two women. And then him and Jen, they tell Jen's like, here's the thing. Of course, we made it seem like I was never going to see him again, but I got invited to a wedding that I knew Rishi was going to be at. Of course, I go to the wedding and I see Rishi, and guess what's happened? A wee bone, and it's fucking great. And now, we've been talking, and I don't really know. We'll see. And then, like, Sean's like, okay, Rishi, well, what do you in your mind think? And he's like, I think we are engaged. And she's like, well, we'll have to have some things. And the two women are there, her friends, they're like, we had no idea that this actually was happening. And, then they're like, okay, Rishi, so now you're saying that you in your mind, you are now engaged with this woman again. He's like, yes. And he's like, okay, but have you told your parents that? And he's like, and he goes, what I did, which is like, you see him be like, no, of course I haven't. No, of course I haven't, but I gotta say something. And then he says something fucking bananas, like, my parents know something, and up and down. Like, I mean, it's just like, everyone's like, what did you just say? It's like, nonsensical. So then they're like, all right, well, let's get her in. So to get the parents in, the mom's there and the uncle. Now, in the 90-day universe, or whatever I said before, we know that Jen and Rishi have gone at Rishi's parents on Instagram. Jen specifically called them out. We're like, these people are colorist, these people are ableist, these people are horrible peasant trash, and I don't know why I'm being accused of being horrible and a Karen-y white woman that doesn't understand culture, when what you guys don't understand is there are colorists and there are ableists. Okay, when we're all like, yeah, girl, I mean, this is I don't yeah, I mean, yes,
Wait a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that everyone goes after Rishi. I mean, Debbie even's like, Rishi, I think you're a coward. I mean, you're not with it, dude. Everybody is going after Rishi, and I wrote very loudly in caps, stop holding him to Western standards. Everyone's like, hey, guy, you got to grow up. You got to get off the mama's teat. You got to do this. Meanwhile, his entire culture structure is that the men marry, that woman comes into the home and takes care of everybody. Daughter-in-laws and mother-in-laws are really important. It is the structure of the family. The same way in the United States, we expect a man to marry a woman, buy her a home so that she can live in said home and take care of the children. Is the same way in India, they expect the daughter-in-law to move into the home with the parents. There could be 2 daughter-in-laws, there could be 1 daughter-in-laws, there can be 5 daughter-in-laws, depending on how many freaking sons they have. Their daughters leave their home and go live with the husband's parents. It is culture. So that would be like, when we move out, let's say there was a 90-day fiancé and it was set up in India, and then there was a man who wanted to marry a woman and have that woman just like live in his mother's home. It's just like, that is the expectation. It is wild for him to be expected to leave the house when that is not what their culture is. And I'm not saying every single family household is the exact same, but we've watched it several times now and we understand how important. We've watched Indian Matchmaker. We've watched some Bollywood movies. We know, some of us who, have invested in the Indian culture, know what this is. So it's crazy to me that the entire cast sounds like a bunch of ignorant bumpkins when they're like, you need to grow up, dude. You need to get your own place, dude. No, he didn't come to the US. He's in India. He's supposed to stay there and take care of his mother and his whoever, and his wife is supposed to help him do so as well.
Everyone's like, Risha, why don't you stand up to your mom? And you know what I wish would happen? I wish that someone would be like, Jen, his mom isn't going to be able to afford an assisted living for herself in 10 years. Do you understand that? Do you understand that you are a white woman who traipses around the fucking globe, putting shit in your face and paying for shit in your face and putting horrible hair color in your hair? And I like you, Jen. It's not that I don't like you, but I need you to understand this. This woman has never colored her hair in her whole fucking life. Unless it's a little henna that was left over from one of her younger, she's not a beauty. She has worked diligently, waking up at 5 a.m. and has 2 sons, and one is disabled, and one looks like Rishi. So she probably has been like, Rishi's it. She does not have a contingency plan. She does not have a 401k. I don't understand why Rishi doesn't look at Jen as being like, my mother expects me to be able to take care of her, because if I don't, she won't have anyone, not have anyone. That is the way it is. She needs someone to take care of her, which is why, and my father does, and my brother does. Like, we don't have the government to pay for things like this. It's like, we need help there. Because that's not your life, I wish someone would just explain it to her, because I don't understand how she doesn't understand the needs of other people. How is it always about her? She is, she's trashy.
She's an able-bodied American, and for her to not even try to help Rishi, I get it. That's not what she wants. But when she realized the situation, she either A, needed to truly cut ties with him, or B, be like, you know what? I'll help you with your family. I'll get myself an apartment. You can come visit me whenever. All of your money is going to go to them. But I'm an American. I can always make money from anywhere. I can do anything. I can go and do something here, and I know I'd make money because I'm a white lady and it's a novelty. So let's work it out. But it's just, and maybe that's what they're doing on undercover. And maybe this is just all like a crazy bit of shenanigans. But I mean, the way that they all went after him and like forced him to tell his parents on national TV that he was going to marry her, I thought was really uncomfortable for me. It was really uncomfortable.
It's also weird because we already watched this exact same scene. And so it's like you guys just made it again. You did the exact same thing again where you make him, I don't know, it's so weird.
Yeah. It was just weird. It was weird.
Weird, and I'm going to say this. There's no heroes in this tell-all. Anyone that you thought you liked this season for whatever reason, everyone shits on themselves in this tell-all. Mm-hmm. Gabe is shitty, he just, I don't know what to tell you, no one, everyone is human. And so I think that, he can watch this and see what happened. But we can't be a fan of him after this. We're no longer a fan of Jen after this. And not that I was a huge fan, but there are no saving graces, and not even Debbie.
Yes. Yes, not even Debbie. Like, Debbie really said some things that I was like, how can you think that Rishi is a villain in this?
How do you think that Chris is this victim in this?
How do you think that Chris is a victim and Jamie is this user? Chris has obviously got some problems. And the fact that she pushed her physically, and you know what I heard? This is what I heard, Chris. Did you hear me? This is what I heard. Let me tell you. I heard that the reason why the cast didn't go after Chris as much as everyone expected them to was because production told them that Chris was in a fragile mental state, and that if we pushed her, that she would go over the edge. That's probably the only reason why they got her to come to this tell-all. Because think of it. Chris is somebody who will up and leave. She gets pissed. She gets up and leaves. She left Colombia. She left whatever her name is, not Abby, whatever her name is, by the pool for her birthday, she will up and leave. So I think production promised her that the cast would be nice to her. I think it falls in line with what they want to happen, because even when she's talking to Jamie and she's sitting there, she gets upset and she like I'm gonna leave, I'm walking away. It's like you don't want to hear any truth about your life and about what's happening with you and your son. So, anyways, there's a note here that says, Gabe, stop comparing the way Isabel acts to the way Jen should act. Like he's just, I don't know. Everybody ends up walking out of this looking crazy. Like I'm on,
yeah,
yeah. It's just like every single. I'm trying to think of all the Americans, and I'm like, what? No, Chris looks crazy. Gabe looks crazy. Debbie is like, what looks crazy? And she's already crazy, but we were on her side. Like Nicole Nicole, I mean Daniela too, Danielle goes in on, not in, but tries to go in on like Nicole's, like, when you have kids, are you going to force them to wear the hijab? And it's like, if you had done a modicum of research, you would know that the hijab is optional. Now, whether or not the patriarchy that you live in certain countries forces it on you or not, the fact is that Nicole's yoga friend Naram, or whatever her name was able to walk around without a hijab. Now, I don't know if you'd be able to do that in, like, say, Saudi Arabia. Like, I don't know if that's possible. So it's each country who practices Islam as their national religion, does things differently. But I know Muslim women who don't wear hijabs. So for Americans to be so like crazy about it as though it's not culture, like, culture is everything. You can't go, well, in US you don't have to. It's like, no, in their country maybe they want to. Maybe there are some women who don't for a long time, and then all of a sudden one day have their spiritual awakening and feel like, listen, they want to come with their hijab on. It's their choice in certain places not. But for you to like, oh, what are you going to do with your kids? Are you going to make your kids wear the hijab? Well, girl, you know Nicole doesn't wear the goddamn hijab. So you think she's going to make her kids wear the hijab? Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Also, kids don't have to wear the hijab till they're a certain age, you know. And obviously, you don't. That's why you don't see like babies wearing hijabs, like, you know, it's not a thing. But also the thing about Cairo is, again, there are different pockets in Cairo. So in different parts, like New Cairo, you don't have to wear one, and in different parts that when you're a local, you know what part of the city you're going into. Just like LA, there's little Armenia. You know that if you go to this part of Cairo, it's a more traditional or conservative part, with whatever sects of Islamic folks that live there that are probably, you know, more conservative. So there's there's parts of it that run like that, and that's just, you know, it's an international city. It's huge. So then there's then there's the part that I fast forwarded, which was also kind of the same. The thing I did when we had to go through this part during the season, which is the very, very, very detailed idea of how people's bodies work and the complications and or things that happen. Okay.
Oh, this my God.
I can't believe how long it happened. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I fast forwarded it. I know it happened a long time because I had to keep pushing the button, being like, I can't believe they're talking about this for like 4 minutes of a tell-all.
It was too long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chris. No, it was bad. They talked again. It talked about his penis. They talked about his size. They talked about whether or not, you know, how it kind of stays kind of rigid, and how he puts it in, and whether or not, you know, like how it was just like, it was too fucking much. That's all I can say. It's too fucking much, and I'm just too like exposed and too liberal to think that this conversation is mildly appropriate.
You know, I know this makes it feel like almost like, you know, Gabe. I talked a lot of shit about Gabe in the past of this tell-all, even though I enjoyed him during the series. But yes, it was.
I did not enjoy him during the series.
Oh, I did. I know. You know, I thought he was a lovable character for sure.
I know you
did.
I felt, yeah, I know you did.
And I felt really great about a lot of the things. And it was really hard for me to deal with this tell-all where I was like, oh no, you don't have the emotional intelligence I thought you did. That's the hurtful part. But here's the thing, you know, everyone is human, and we can't put, you know, just because you have gone through a huge transformative thing where you got past something doesn't mean that you now have the emotional intelligence to deal with everyone. And that's a thing. But let me just say this. I don't want to know about Gabe's like complications or how the intricacies of his body works, just like if fucking Tim and Veronica, who are on this special for no reason, if Tim now was on talking about Tim's UTI and how Tim had to go through a stint in Tim's dick because Tim has ED or whatever it was, I would equally be like, absolutely not. I would be like, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. It literally feels like you are just trying to kill time and or give like a weird like porn to people that are curious. Daniela says like, I'm curious. And it was so funny too, because I'm like, oh, Danielle, I thought you were like some weed smoking hippie from New York. Why are you curious? She's 75. Why are you curious how like trans people have sex? Like,
yes,
what? Like, like this isn't Chris, with her, with her ugly like backdoor being like, how do people work? Like
Alabama nonsense. Like, this is somebody who's from a like metropolitan city, who is from like the epicenter of like trans rights and liberation and fucking ballroom, and you're gonna sit up here and tell us that you have questions about the penis? It's just like wild. I mean, Danielle for me, I mean, we were already against her, and I'm really, the only time that we had someone say anything to her is when Jen's friends were like, well, we feel like you hold his balls in a bag. And her, with her way her mouth works, she's like, well, I don't think that I should have to deal with a man who tells me, like, whatever she says.
I actually know what she says, because it's like,
Go ahead.
this is an interesting part. I like this part. So, obviously that's how we feel, and that's how she's been acting this entire time. But she comes to this tell-all and she says the most obnoxious thing, was like, where she says, I just think that a lot of people were just super shocked that I wasn't like gonna bend over backwards for this hot guy, this hot young guy, because he's so attractive and like cook and clean. I just think that people were shocked by that. And it's like, oh no, that's not at all how we felt. We felt like we were completely flabbergasted that you had the audacity to like come in and like tell this man like how he should run his business, how life works on his island, how you just seem to be like always trying to like explain to him how relationships work and how he's failing all the time and like not really understanding where he's coming. That's more of it. But then again, as we said, Jen's friends like give it to her and we're like, well, this happened. And then she goes, well, here's the thing. I have to make all the money. So if he did make all the money and I was just able to kind of sit back, I would cook and clean, but that's not where I'm at right now, which is like, because I have to make the money. And so she almost makes it seem like I'm being forced into like a dominant role because he has no money. And so I am being made to be this way. But it would be my preference for me to be able to sit back in my feminine power, but that's not where I am. As if she again had no other opportunities and was being forced into this situation and just was like, I need, like it's a narcissistic thing that she says, because the truth of the matter is, well, yeah, if that's how you feel, then you could definitely easily not be with someone that you like hanky panky sanky panky met some, like whatever he, at a resort. For sure you could have, but that's not what you did, babe.
Yes, you have a choice. It is like you choose to be with somebody who doesn't fulfill all your needs, and then you hold the needs not being fulfilled against them, and then talk shit about them and make them feel less than because they're not meeting your needs when you were not forced to marry them. And so it is, I mean, this is the most infuriating tell-all. I just was mad the whole time. I think I wrote 3 pieces of notes, and part of that was shut up, Gabe. 1, 2, stop holding Rishi to Western standards. Then Gabe's penis size, like just awkward. And then the fact that Debbie thinks that Jamie is a user when Chris so obviously, I mean, they're just fighting back and forth about who dated who. And Jamie acknowledges that she started dating somebody else because Chris disappeared. And then that person reached out to Chris and was like, these are the things that she's saying. But Jamie's like, you were not there. Then she's like, I have proof that you've only paid 1 time. And Chris is like, that's not true. And then she shows the proof and it's like, well, I sent it another way. I sent
via
money.
My mom.
Yes. I sent it via my mom. It's just like, what do you even, I worked day and night for her, and my son comes first. I am sorry if I put my son first, but we're just like, you fucking fully left your son when he was 18 years old because you were like, you're an adult, bye, I'm gonna go. You were planning on moving, so all of a sudden now your son and his drug using and selling ability, I mean, just like, I mean, it just like, it's when she pushed her, Chris lost all credibility. There was a point where I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, maybe Chris has some kind of truth. When I was like, no, you're a drug addict. You're a drug addict. Your son is affected by this. He's selling fentanyl. Now, I know
Mhm.
fentanyl is the new thing. So maybe fentanyl is like what heroin was when I was like younger. But to me, like, so many people have died of a fentanyl overdose that I like not know, but like know of, right? Like Michael Jackson, perhaps Prince, Michael K. Williams, Freddie, what's that? Mac Miller. So many celebrities that we know have died of some kind of fentanyl abuse or usage of it. And so it feels like the worst thing in the world because so many people that we know of have died. Anyways, Chris, well, you have a lot of quizzical.
I didn't realize. I didn't think about the fact that Michael Jackson died of fentanyl. But yeah, like I think of fentanyl. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. I guess in my mind, fentanyl feels like meth a little bit in that sense. More like I don't know, but
I
in a
don't know
sense
people
of
who've like died of meth. I mean, not that they haven't, but
oh,
fentanyl for
people don't
sure.
meth over people. I'm assuming you're people. You know, anyway, well, listen. As you can tell, I've never done it or whatever. But like the reason why I guess so is because like sometimes there's like pictures of people like are on fentanyl and they look like they're so fucked up in that kind of meth way. But anyway, let me say
Mm.
this. So you know, just as this very long conversation of like how Gabe gets to have sex or not. There's also, again, as Wah said, this very long back and forth between Chris and Jamie. Now I'm having again, like this is the height of my COVID as I'm watching this, which I mean I have like basically because I've been vaccinated and boosted and I had COVID last year when I got it, you know, it wasn't horrible, but basically I had a sore throat and I said brain fog, okay? Hardcore brain fog. So I am watching this back and forth between Chris and Jamie and I find it to be unwatchable. I can't focus. I don't understand what the hell they're saying. Like I feel like you know it's like I don't like they're not really communicating and I keep being like is this me? Like I don't understand, you know, I'm like did we talk about this? This feels also like lazy editing. Like it's
Yeah.
going on so far and it's happening so loud that it's like it's very hard to like focus. And then I'm like, I think it's me. I'm gonna have to watch it again. And just as I'm about to rewind, Nicole is like, you guys, I don't know what the hell you're saying. This feels like I can't fucking follow it. Like she says what I'm saying live, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so let me say this. This felt like a very lazily edited tell all in so many ways. I can't like again, remember how we had Bilal and all of them and D'Angela and they had like the you know, like they had hotel scenes,
Yeah.
you know, they after the tell-alls and like I mean before the tell-alls and the fact that they edit not only how long they give us you know, again, Gabe's penis talk, which was something we already had during the season and had a lot of similar information. And then now they'll give us this back and forth between Chris and Jamie. They didn't really ever set up during the thing, and they don't edit it right for us to really understand like every moment they're saying. They leave that and Nicole calling it out. You know?
Chris, it is
That
like,
it's dumb.
it is crazy because another part of this is Jen. Remember, Jen gets so upset because Rishi's mother is like, you're old.
Oh.
And here's the truth. Listen, I'm
You
8 years.
are! You are! You are old, bitch. You know it. It's why you keep putting shit in your face. Okay, you're dating a young person. You know, I don't have to tell you she's so dumb. How did she live there that many goddamn times? This is a woman who, like, what, told us over and over again that she spent time in India. Fuck you, Jen. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. Take a minute to stop putting Botox and filler all over your fucking face and Google something. I don't fuck her.
Jesus. Oh, you
I'm
guys.
sorry.
Anyways, this is
No,
Chris in rare.
I interrupted you for that. It made me really upset.
This is Chris in rare form. This is the true Chris. This is the Chris that I know. And we are so grateful that COVID has allowed her to come forth and tell the truth in the way like it is really bananas to me that these older American women, specifically white, feel some kind of way when they go to foreign countries where people have very old fashioned ways of thinking about age and babies and families, and then expect these parents to be like, okay, we don't want the next generation. Like, this mother is like, I'm not going to have any grandchildren from my sons, and I might have grandchildren from my daughter, but then that's the end of my line. And that's important for them, you know? And it's like, I'm at that precipice. So I get it with Jen. I'm at that precipice where I'm waiting for somebody to be like, I love you, let's have babies. And I'm like, let's try. Also, it costs $5,000 because I'm going to need to have IVF because the factory is shutting down. I wasn't able to store eggs at any point in my life. So, you know,
I just gotta, this is what I gotta like. Jen is old. She cannot, I want her to know this, you can't walk this world having the audacity to like tell us that you're not old. I mean, you are not young, babe. You know that. You've lived this life for a little bit. If I went to Asia, I'm a 5'8" woman and I'm a curvy woman. If I went to parts of Asia, I am sure that people would remark about how big I am. That is true. I know that. I've never been to Asia, but I know that. I'm bigger than those people, and they don't feel the same level of like, we shouldn't say this thing because it might hurt that person's feelings, even though it's true. Go ahead.
Can I say something? And me and my
Yes.
dad, Chris, had this very same conversation this weekend. So he's like, you know how Belizeans are. We will just say the obvious and not care about anyone's feelings. And I'm like, that's why I got into so much trouble growing up, is because I grew up in a freaking Belizean household when people were, and I'm just going to use this as an example. For the longest time, Chris, I honestly thought that people were fat because they wanted to be, because that's what I was raised to believe, is that it was a choice because all you had to do was lose weight. And it wasn't until I got to a certain place where I was like, oh no, it is a lot more than that. It is much more than a choice. But Belizeans will just say things, and I'm using this as an example, and this is what my dad said, he's a Belizean, so don't come for me. And you know this, and there's certain places in Africa where you will just call people out and say the thing that you think it is without any kind of vision or thought for mental health or what that can do to hurt somebody.
Sure.
I went home, Chris, do you know did I tell you that my mom tried to tell me I was fat 3 different times?
And this last time you saw her?
Yeah. She said to me when I got into the house, it was hot to me. It was 76 degrees. And I was like, oh, it's hot in here. So I made my dad put the air conditioning on because I was not going to be uncomfortable. And she just giggled and she was like, well, she's like, it's because you're heavier. It's comfortable for us. And I thought to myself, what in the world made you think that you could say that to me based on our relationship and think that you will walk out of this situation unscathed? Now, I didn't say anything to her because I thought to myself, oh, she's comfortable. She thinks we're friends. And so I want her to feel that way because I don't want her to feel bad. But and then I was unpacking my clothing, unpacking my stuff. And she was like, why'd you bring so many items? She's watching me take out my little thongs that I'm going to wear to see my friend. She's watching me take out my stuff. And she's like, why you only coming for a week? You need 2 things? And I'm like, yes, because I'm going to change. I'm going to change twice a day. If I want to wear this, I want to wear that. And she's like, oh, well, do you think maybe it's because your clothes are bigger? Then my clothes are physically bigger. And so that's why I need more space in my luggage. And I said to myself, so comfortable. And then I went to see my aunt. And you know what my aunt said? Girl, you look good. Because I'm the same fucking weight I was when I left, Chris. And she just liked the way I was styling myself. She was so happy to see me. She was so like, oh, telling me all the things that was going. We talked for like hours. And I just was like, And my dad said the same thing too. My dad was like, oh, you look different. You look fuller. And so then in the nighttime when he and I were talking, I was like, hey, I need you to stop commenting on my weight because I'm the exact same weight and I know that I'm bigger. And he's like, and then that's when he launched into the whole Belizean thing. And then he said, but let me tell you that nothing I'm saying is malicious because I know you talked to me while on the phone. Cause I talked to him on the phone about needing to lose weight. And he was like, just skip breakfast. And I was like, yeah, I can't skip breakfast. But we had a conversation about my weight gain before I came. But it's just so interesting that like Yeah, it happens. You go to other places and it's not America, and there's nobody thinks about your mental health. Nobody thinks about all these awful things that you can that say make you feel terrible. Everyone believes that your A choice to be fat is a choice. B, I mean, the reason that you're overweight is a choice. B, they all think that, we're American, so what do we have to complain about and what do we have to be depressed about? I live over here and we don't have electricity all the time and I'm not depressed. So anyways, I mean, for Jen to feel like, oh my God, I can't believe she's saying that to me, it's so uncouth. The truth is that you cannot produce children anymore. And I'm not saying that that's your only value to this family, but it's a huge part of your value to this family. People will make fun of them and they don't want to go through that when he could just find somebody who is his same culture, who is younger than him, who could give her at least one child. So it is terrible. It is, from a Western perspective, yeah, it sucks. But from a not Western perspective, which is where you were trying to go and live, you were trying to go live in India. So for you to be like, oh, they're awful people, it's like, no, listen, it took us a while to get to a place where a child that was born different was not just drowned in the river. And I hate to say it like that, but there was a time where people did that to their children who were not able-bodied, and it was not right, and it was medieval 100%. But how are you, one person, going to go over to this country and tell them folks to be different? That's it. I mean, then the shocker of the shocker happened. They ended the bloody tell-all to tell us that there was a part 3. Why? Chris, why?
I don't want it. No, I don't want it. You really, I thought it was a good season, and it's the worst tell-all probably I've ever experienced.
3? What do they think they are?
Yeah.
Happily ever after? What do they think they're regular 90 Day Fiancé? I'm sorry. We love The Other Way because it's so interesting and because the tell-all is short.
You're not wrong.
This is episode 16. Wrong. This is 16 weeks, Chris. Again, they want to hold us hostage. The only thing is that this was absolutely 10 times better than Happily Ever After. This has been relatively interesting. And honestly, it's like Mahmoud and Nicole just held it on their backs the entire way.
Yeah, which is probably why, they're going to be in the next episodes of, regular 90 Day.
Yeah.
Honey. And then obviously, as we also know, Before the 90 Days is about to start. So lots on the horizon. You guys, thank you so much for being with us, Wa.
Before the 90 Days is going to be good. Every year, every time I get so excited. And then halfway through, I hate everything.
I know. It's like we forget. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We like to just, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And we're insane.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much for being on this with us. As you know, we obviously are going to do Before the 90 Days because we are gluttons for punishment. So that's happening for us. If you are watching Love in Paradise, we are also doing that. That is a Patreon only situation, which Wa will tell you about if you would like to, not only listen to that, but also watch that and then watch all of the video streaming that we've been doing as we record all of before Wa does that, let me tell you how you can follow us freely though on Instagram at DocuSweeties, on TikTok at DocuSweeties, and on Twitter at DocuSweeties1. Go ahead, Wa.
Okay, everybody, here, let's get intimate. All right, so 1, Chris and I are going to get back into docuseries, okay? There's a docuseries on the horizon. It's coming out on Monday. It's called The Curious Case of Natalie Grace. It is on ID. So if you have Discovery Plus or you have HBO Max, which is now called Max, you can watch it on there. I have just let go of my Discovery Plus because why? When I have it all on HBO Max. So 1, do that. Save yourself like whatever, $6.99 or $9.99 a month. 2, there's another documentary come out called Happy Shiny People, and it is about the Duggars and the IBLP, I believe it's called, which is like a sect of Christianity, and it is going to be huge. And your girls care about things that are going to be huge. You know what actually I just watched too? I watched the Anna Nicole Smith documentary. I think it was on Netflix. Really good as well. So watch that if you're interested. You can, support us by being a part of the Patreon, which is $10 a month. And that is on patreon.com/docusweeties. And that's where we tell you guys what's going on in our lives. We do a live every first Monday of the month. And also we have an exclusive content, which is Love in Paradise, a 90-day story, season 3. So we love all of our new subscribers. We had a couple of new subscribers in the last 2 weeks, and we're very happy to meet you. I want to do a thing where I actually go through and look at through our subscribers list and shout people out. I know the dating doula is on there. I know that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I want to do that.
We'll look it up. We'll look it up and
Adeline, Masand G, Leah, Nicolette, Carol. We've got Renee, of course. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And anybody who wants to join the Patreon, like the more patrons we have, the more exclusive content we can do. We've got SAG, we've got Mike Lash, we've got Slush, we've got Tara, we've got Jamie, we've got Brenna, we've got Frisky Kitty, which I love that name, Beth, Veronica, Charlotte, Amy, Natalie Ennis, April. So a lot of good people. Nikki C, we love you guys. I'm missing someone super important, and I can see her face, but I can't think of the name. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes, especially if you're on Patreon, because the next video that we're going to do is Love in Paradise, and that's exclusively for y'all. We also have Chris, who is, the girl has written a one-woman show, and it is a part of the Fringe Festival in Los Angeles. So if you are in Los Angeles and you are listening to this right now, Waha Molino is going to be at Lebanese Debutante on June 15th at 5 p.m. And if you want to meet me and hang out, and sit next to each other, we can absolutely do that. I'll be in LA that weekend. So yeah, Chris is it's great. She's written this whole thing. We're all going to laugh. We're going to cry. My brother's going to go see her show. I'm trying to get more people to go. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go see it. So
that's crazy. I'm so thankful. Your brother is so fucking cool. But no, that makes me really, really happy. Thank you so much. Yes. If you're in LA, my show is called Lebanese Debutante. You can look it up at the Hollywood Fringe. It's gonna be happening. There are dates, the 6/5, 6/8, 6/11, 6/13, 6/15, 6/18, and 6/21. I will also tell you, if you are a Reality Gaze fans, I'm not going to call out which show they're coming to, but they already bought tickets. So go ahead. Maybe 1 out of 7 chances you'll see them there too.
Oh my God. Are you going to tell me?
It's so sweet.
Are you going to tell me? Okay, great.
I'll tell you. And so it's happening at the second stage at the Broadwater in Hollywood, Lebanese Debutante. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys. Also, having said that, I open in a week, so it might take some time for me to watch this docuseries I want to do. You're going to give your girl a little empathy and a little space there for that. And I promise to pay you back with a heartfelt show. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for listening. Go ahead, Wa.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.